Hello, everybody. Looks like I'm live. I hope so. Let me check that. Yes, I should be live now. Let me see. All right. Okay. 1 second, all, because I need to first get this. Oh, so annoying. Um, am I live? Hi, Inio. Good to see you. I see you there on D Live. That's going. I see also Twitch going. Whoever is there, hello. And let me put on the chat. There you are all. And I discovered, hey Tron, good to see you. I discovered that you can actually change the font size on the chat, which is super great because that means I can now, um, you know, change and do whatever I like. Let me see. Did everybody just vanish? Oh, shit. I think that happened, right? Hang on. Am I still there? I just closed. Yes, I'm still there. Thank God. I just closed the restream and I thought I was gone. So, yeah. Let me get the D Live off because can't have that on. Now, I think I'm done. Sorry, takes a bit to get used to everything. Hello, everybody. Good to see you all. Yes, white hat shirt. Haven't had that on for a while. And let me see who's there. Hi, Brett, Kevin. Good to see you. Dennis and Path of Most Resistance. Alara, Yolanda, Lala, good to see you too, and Neo. And I'm happy to see you all. I wasn't there on Thursday because I slept actually through my own stream. So that was a bit weird because, it's 1 a.m. here. Hello, Kitty Who. So let me first thank Rio for her donation. Rio Ray Froche. I think she's French. I'm not sure, but yeah, she made a donation during the week. And hello, Maudau and Dennis Hagepark. Good to see you, and Cat Spotter. And so I hope you have seen my video last week from my transformation journey, which I did um, there. And I'm sorry, I was just distracted with Tessa for a second there. I need to think about the chest because I forgot that last week and I've never done that. So please remind me of that. Hey, Chef Matt, good to see you. And so I did the video on uh, transformation. And today I was doing a little bit of a continuation of transformation. I was going to talk a bit about um, things that I encounter during my transformation. And hello, Neopac. Good to see you, Z Neopac. And due diligence, good to see you too. And congratulations with your big win on uh, your years in the military. And anyway, I was going to say that today I was supposed to have Luke Slide Talker, but we're going to do another video on a Da Vinci painting, but we need to be prepared properly. So we're going to do that when it's properly prepared. Then on Thursday, I will have Joe and Ellen from Uncensored uh, Ape, and they will I will have an interview with them. And hey, Wanderlust Gate, good to see you, Scott. And so today I was thinking about how the stream, well, not today, the whole week actually, how the stream ended last week, which was about people that had some private questions for me regarding boyfriends and all that stuff. And I was talking about, how I'm really not lonely. And I was going to, I thought about further about that. And I thought, you know what, this is a good topic actually to go through. And I hope, well, that you guys find it interesting, because I think everybody will recognize something about that. So, I was thinking about the importance of words. And when I was in rehab, for example, we used to have every morning, I was there for 6 months, for those who haven't seen my last video. And we used to have like every morning a therapy group, and then they would ask you, so how are you feeling today? And you would say, oh, hi, I'm Patricia, I'm an addict. And I would say, I feel annoyed. Well, annoyed is not a feeling. And so then you would argue about, oh, okay, it's not a feeling. For me, it is a feeling, right? And so other people in there would be very happy about that, because, you would extend the session without actually talking, because in the beginning, you don't want that. And so then I never understood that. So I always try to, find new ways to say how I felt. And hey, Brett, good to see you. And so, yeah, I then only years later did I understand the whole point of asking why they asked for your feelings, because it turned out I had just two standard feelings. One was anxiety, and the other one was angry. And so I really had to think every day, like, what do I feel? And I couldn't even figure it out. And so many times we do have feelings that we actually disguise under other feelings that are the real feelings, right? And so yeah, I was going to talk about that. And I was looking up the word lonely. And so you know how many people will say, oh yeah, I'm lonely, and or I feel lonely. And yeah, angry. Exactly, Brian. Brad. Anxiety and angry, that was pretty much my standard, so if I felt like sad, that usually would go into anger. If I was feeling maybe lonely, that would then return into anxiety. So I just had those default feelings. And so yeah, the importance of words. So I hear a lot of people saying, oh yeah, I feel lonely, I feel lonely. But if you think about it, uh, what does lonely really mean? So I looked it up on the uh, Webster dictionary, and it says feeling alone. Well, it's not true, so because this past year I was actually encountering that whole thing, because I found myself for the first time actually being lonely. And I haven't been lonely like most of my life, because I was used to be alone, and I kind of like that. And I would probably be lonely after a relationship broke up or something, which is normal. And so then I encountered that again in the past year, when I started actually, frequenting people again. Uh, so then I figured, why am I feeling like this? I don't understand, because I never had that. And then I figured, oh, that has something to do with people. Because, if you connect to people, then chances are that you can feel lonely too, if you do not connect in the proper way. And so at the time, I was thinking about what it meant, and I wrote it down, and I encountered it again in a text that I wrote at the time. And I still feel that it's exactly what loneliness is. So, feeling lonely is when the attachment in a relationship is not reciprocated, or when expectation in a relationship aren't being met. The causes are This causes lowering of energy, and then or lowering of energy in the self. And when continue for a long period of time, it causes a lack of self-worth. And yeah, it's about knowing your worth in relationships to others. And when you find yourself in a relationship that's not reciprocated, or your expectations aren't being met, then obviously you start feeling lonely. So, in other words, feeling lonely is really a lack of self worth. I found out. And I found that really interesting. This can obviously also be valid for multiple relationships and all that. And hey, Princess Palm Beach, good to see you. And Queen Fisher, Gino, and wow, lots of people today. And so, thinking of, let me get that cam again because it's all fuzzy. Yep, we're back. And so I was going to talk about how people sometimes feel that when they're saying I'm lonely, I want a relationship because I'm lonely, I'm feeling lonely. Well, we all know that if you feel lonely, you really need to work on yourself, because you cannot have a relationship to fulfill that emptiness that you have inside, right? And so many people tend to then go search for relationships because, they don't want to feel lonely. And consequences is usually that they then start searching for somebody, either dating websites, whatever. um, then they find somebody, and at the same time, usually with the wrong reasons, because they were lonely. And so when you are feeling like that, you obviously have something, an emptiness that you want to fill up. And so you usually do that with relationships. And yeah, it's very hard to do, Dennis, learning what it means to love yourself. And that's exactly where I'm going with this. So many people that then I was saying last week, when people said, well, why don't you have a relationship and all that? Well, first of all, I'm not lonely. I don't feel alone. And at the same time, if it is meant to be, then it will come on my path. But if I'm going to search for it, then usually you wind up finding the wrong thing, right? And in the beginning, it seems all nice. And then what usually we encounter is a mirror of ourselves. And, God and the universe have a way of then showing us that we didn't really need that relationship. What we really needed was to learn something about ourselves. And it's very interesting how that works, because, how many of us have found ourselves in relationship, completely in love and all that. And then you find yourself, along the way, thinking to yourself, what, why is this not working? You know? And usually it's not working because, it started out for the wrong reason to begin with. Obviously, some people are lucky and they can find it. And, but yeah, usually when we go in search for that out of loneliness, it's very likely you actually encounter somebody that is going to mirror you, and with the consequences that you have to look at yourself. And then usually in a relationship, we tend to blame the other for all their mistakes they're making, and or whatever they are, and we never look at ourselves. And so this is a real problem, and I see it constantly with people that are afraid being alone. I don't want to die alone. Well, we're all dying alone eventually. It's not like your partner's coming with you. So we do not need to have like all these relationships in order to complete us, because if you need somebody to complete you, it means you're not complete. So means there too you have a lot of stuff to learn for yourself. And so yeah, I was going to talk about how you can actually look at yourself and find out what it is that makes you feel, for example, lonely in this case. So um, when I had that somewhere in the past year, I asked myself, why am I feeling lonely? What is it that I feel? And I was like, whoa, I feel an emptiness. I feel like something is not reciprocated, and I want it. Well, you have no control over people, places, and things. Therefore, you need to look into yourself, and take responsibility for whatever you feel, instead of searching it outside yourself. Because then say that you like somebody, and that is not reciprocated, so you start feeling lonely, and then we're going to move on to the next, right? And expectations, that's another one. When we have expectations of people that we are partnering with, that's probably the biggest problem in relationships to begin with, because when a relationship ends and you feel like you end up in that big black hole, that usually means that you lost yourself along the way. So if you are in a relationship, and question yourself, are there things that I would do if I wasn't in this relationship, but I don't do them because of this relationship, then usually you're on the verge of losing yourself. So if you have on happy moments, a lot of unhappy moments, you tend to want to stay in there, you want to keep trying, and and usually it's not fulfilling, and therefore you want to figure out what's going on within you and what are you lacking. Now once we are in that relationship, we tend to always blame others for whatever is going on because the expectations aren't being met. And I think we shouldn't have expectations to begin with, because it should just flow. Everybody should be able to do what they do normal in a normal life when they're alone, when they're in a relationship, because a relationship is an addition to your life. It's not something that completes you. It's something that um, makes your life richer. And so obviously there is moments that you have to adapt to each other, but most of the time you respect each other's lives, you respect each other's way of being. Another thing is a big problem is people that want to change each other, because otherwise they're not happy. Well, then maybe you're in the wrong relationship, because if you expect all those things from other people or your partner, then it shouldn't be that way. And so yeah, that's hey law girl, good to see you. And that's really where it all comes down to. So if you go in search for a relationship, dating sites and all that, it's usually because you feel that you want a relationship. And so when you're going in search for that, um, it's very likely that you go search for somebody based on certain criteria, which is completely different when you actually bump into somebody, like, and you become friends and it's all nice, and then all of a sudden something, this spark is flying, and that's when you slowly grow within a relationship, without actually expecting things from each other. While the other way around, when you go in search, you have expectations because you have criteria. So in order to, fulfill that need to wanting a relationship, you have a whole list. Yeah, he needs to look cute, or he or she needs to be this and that and that and that. Well, it's a bit of an non-organic way to find a relationship. And so people then are surprised that later on they may actually despise each other so badly, because they find each other in this predicament of being annoyed with each other. And it's interesting how I learned a lot about that. Meeting Americans have a complete different way of looking at relationships than we do in my country, for example, which is a whole different story, but nonetheless very interesting. For example, status is very important in America. So, money, looks, all those kind of things that are quite superficial. But at the same time, you do want to have, not somebody is completely poor, or you both are, because, that can be a problem too. So, um, yeah, it's an interesting topic that I see over and over again with people that are in relationships not happy, or doing things that the other wants, and then it's kind of an exchange of deals with each other. If you have exchanged with deals like, okay, so if you behave like that with me and then I will behave like that with you, then that's not natural, you know. And obviously people that fit with us don't come falling out of the sky. And first thing that needs to be addressed here is yourself. You know, how are you feeling? How did you get in that relationship? How did you feel when you got in that relationship? You know, and that thank you, path of most resistance. You have a crush? Well, thank you. But yeah, this is a kind of, you know, quite an important topic. And lately, everybody bumping into their egos. I see a lot of people around me online, obviously, because we cannot go anywhere, that have relation problems and that, you know, cannot stand to be with each other anymore. But then they keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. And, and then losing a lot of time because, you know, our lives are short. And then you get the next thing is like, oh, you know what, I don't want to go dating anymore because the former one and all the other one, they were all assholes or crazy women, because apparently those are the two words we have for exes. Although I don't have that at all, because all my exes are literally my friends. And because I've always approached it that way. It didn't mean that I always find the right guys, because, and that's another thing, you know, we do not know what we don't know. So as soon as you get into a relationship, um, I had kind of a rule, like after every other relationship, I only want, I know what I don't want anymore. So with each, that doesn't mean we need to have like 20 relationships in order to finally find the right one. But, you know, it's nice to find out, uh, you know, what you actually want. What do we want? You know, you want somebody that fits with you want somebody that has the same interest, you want somebody that, you know, is your friend. And then obviously there needs to be chemistry, otherwise what's the point, you know. And so all these factors together all start with ourselves and how we find relationships. So um yeah, I think that's an interesting topic to cover, because um, many people just have no idea how to go about that, and stepping in these things with the wrong intentions, and to then be surprised about it, it all goes wrong, right? And so yeah, my rule is, my next relationship always have to be better than any other relationship I had before. And when I did that, I did get every new relationship I had was better and better and better. And you know, obviously I have my own issues, so I learned there. It didn't mean that, you know, I went to the stage where there was hate and all that, because after all, I always ended up being friends with my exes eventually, you know, when you're over the thingy, over that whole big hurdle of, you know, the relationship itself. And so yeah, that's quite a unique thing, it seems, because I don't know many people that actually are very much friends with their exes. And yeah, I think that has everything to do with your self-worth and how far did you let it go, to the point that, you know, that there is no way back anymore from actually being friends. And so knowing yourself and knowing your self-worth, you learn how, when enough is enough, when you know that things don't work out anymore. And so and you don't waste any time further, if that's you know. And sometimes we have relationships where we learn from, where that teaches us so many things. And and yeah, that's Shanjo. You're saying intimacy and vulnerability. I have three main rules in relationship. First of all, friendship, you know, because without friendship, uh, you don't get like that same vibe and interest with each other. And usually, when there is friendship, there is interests that you both have. And then there's communication, something that many people don't do, communication with each other about whatever there is in the relationship. I honestly, with especially my last ex, we could talk about anything. I mean, there was not anything that I could not talk about. So, that was very nice. And then another thing I learned, uh, what is important is obviously the physical attraction, which, apparently after some years, some people have, oh, yeah, I don't have that anymore. To me, that's really weird because, relationships are work. I mean, the moment that you meet each other doesn't mean that from there on out everything goes better. It's just like having a job. You need to keep working on it, you know? And so, how do you get self worth? How do you find that within you? Well, one thing is by always asking yourself the why questions. So when you actually find out there are so many feelings, we can say, okay, I'm angry. Well, why are you angry? And well, because so and so said this and that as well. First of all, since you have no control over other people and you can blame other people, you need to take responsibility for yourself. And so then you can say, okay, so what can I do about it? Either I'm going to talk to that person, do something about it, or if it doesn't work out, well, then I have to eliminate the person out of my life because, sometimes friendships, uh, relationships, you outgrow each other. And then if you do not, grow together, or one is stagnant and the other one grows, then that will fail in any case. That doesn't mean that a relationship cannot have crisis. Of course they can. But if there's a good communication and there is a good friendship, then you should actually pass that hurdle as well. Now, when you're going to start asking yourself these why questions, many times we wind up being actually not angry. Is if your first answer is angry, turns out maybe you have grief, but you've been walking along around with this so long that you don't even know where your anger comes from anymore, or whatever emotion it is, right? Or and so we tend to, as human beings, we tend to shove everything under the rug, go busy with our works, find new friends, and distract ourselves from that we do not want to look at. And it's very, very important to do that, because at the end of the day, you're pulling at the short end of the stick. So you do not want that, right? So how do you put yourself open to that? Well, like I said last week, it's very um, important to know where you're at in life and what's going on. Like every day, for example, what I do is, if I don't feel well, I always ask myself, what's going on? How do I feel? And where does it come from? And I keep asking questions myself, the why questions, until I get the answer. And then you solve it very quickly. Now, many times people do not want to look at certain things because they are too painful to look at. And obviously, I've been there for many years because that was my default setting, right? Anxiety, anger. And I couldn't even look at anything. I was just, you know, um, putting everything under those two default settings. And until I started digging deeper, so just like we do with Q drops, try and do that with yourself. Try digging and see it as a challenge instead of something that's scary. Um, Start asking yourself where the feelings come from and what underlying feelings there are that, you know, are coming from however you feel. And the deeper you dig, the more you find out you're actually walking around with it already for years sometimes. So, hey, Nicole Frolic, good to see you. And I see so many people popping in there. Fearless. Hey, Michelle Battiston, good to see you. So nice. And so yeah, the, hey, metal plated face job. You have feelings? Good. Do you have the right feelings though? Let me see. I saw somebody um, saying something interesting. Um, well, um, another thing here, what is very, very important is taking responsibility. And Christina, love, good to see you. Honest content too. So, ego is the demon that lurks in the shadows of the subconscious. That is so true, because who are we kidding at the end of the day, right? Ourselves. Always. Always. It doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter how much we fight with others, how much we blame them, how much we blame everything around us for what is happening to us. And so when I was in rehab, there was I had my own therapist, and one day she shoved a folder in my hands, and it said the super victim syndrome. And what happened? Obviously, I became immediately defensive. I went angry, and I'm like, I don't need that. Why do I have that folder? I'm not a victim. And so in evening, I was sitting on my bed. I was, filling out the questionnaire that's in there. And the moment all of a sudden it clicked, and I saw, oh my God, I'm a super victim syndrome. I have the super victim syndrome. I didn't even know. And there are so many levels of victimhood that we do not even realize. And it's amazing when you discover that you actually uh, um, you live like a victim in certain circumstances, but there are so many levels of victimhood, right? So we have the leftist. That's a whole different level, and we can say all we want about them, because they I mean, they are the champs in victimhood. But if we look in our own lives, um, we can be victims of ourselves, and and be in that mindset of victimhood. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not a victim of something, whatever that is. That's not the problem. The problem is when we embrace that victimhood, and when we start using that as an excuse not to continue working on ourselves, and that is a problem. you know so let me see there. I don't Oh yeah, I do have Cash App, by the way, and I hope I get them. If people do send them, that I can read them. So I'm sorry if I don't. I don't even know if I can see super chats um, in my restream chat, because that's another thing. Actually, I recommend not to use super chat at all, because uh, that cost a lot of uh, money that goes to corporations anyway. So that aside, um, hey Sudabok, good to see you. So yeah, being a victim. When last week I spoke about in my transformation video about how I unplugged for a month, and blaming everybody for being angry, etc. Well, and until you notice that you're actually unhappy, and so I figured to myself, wait, I need to figure out what's going on. And then I found out that I was you know not taking responsibility for my own feelings, and the fact that I was not happy, and I would blame it to others, and I would go on renting, and until I did realize it, and immediately swapped it around, because you know it only hurts you in the end. um Choice, when we realize we have a choice, changes everything. That is so true. Something as simple as a choice. Now that, thank you Sanjo to say that, because this is where not taking responsibility comes in, and the victimhood. So when you stay in victim mode, no matter how, say that you're in a relationship that sucks, right? And you're like, yeah, because he this and she that, and if it wasn't for him, then we would have, or if it wasn't for her, we would have. No, It doesn't work like that, because as long as you do that, you're in a victim mentality. When you're in a victim mentality, you do not make choices. So you stay in the situation and you do not change them. And you do not change them because you keep blaming somebody else, do not take responsibility. Therefore, you cannot make choices to actually change something about you. Either step out of the relationship if it doesn't work anymore, or change your own attitude. So, things become in sync again with each other. After all, there was a day that you loved each other. Therefore, there should be another moment that you can do that again. Or you came in the relationship to begin with the wrong intentions, and so then it's pretty much a lesson that you're learning there. And it will shorten your problems if you do this. um my email, what's my email? Hang on, I'll give it to you. It's keystone channel at protonmail.com. There you go. Yeah. And so let me see. Who was there? Uh, hey, Dream State Wonders. Good to see you. Um, Being a victim is so trendy now. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's an excuse to actually not move on. It's an excuse to actually not have to make a choice to change yourself. And that is what victimhood is. When I discovered that, I was quite shocked, because I didn't realize I was doing it to begin with. And many times we are not realizing it. And it can be in everything. It can be in little things. It can be, well, if you look in your life, there where you are reacting the most in a negative sense, usually that's an indication where something is wrong. Um, oh, friend, hello, I'm from Holland. I see you cannot place my accent. That's because my accent is, well, it's a non-accent. Um, and yes, the social media makes it worse, because people do love to, be that victim, because it gives them attention. But it gives them the wrong attention, because you do not get your full potential out if you start doing that, right? And thank you, Christina Love, for your donation. What does it say? Lemon character and baby lemon blowing a party horn while marching. What does that mean? um, so where was I? Um, um, I got a bit distracted now. Victimhood, right? Oh yeah, social media, right? Another thing, narcissism. People want to make sure that they're seen, that they have followers. They get their own security out of those things instead of out of themselves. So social media obviously made it way worse. Um, and here's another example, and I hope that's not going to hurt a lot of people, because um, I see it a lot, and I found it the weirdest thing ever. But it's an American thing, unfortunately, um, that I want to address, and it's something that is so ingrained that people have no idea how ingrained it is. Let me read that. CW Tablet. Hello. Being a victim is easier than dealing with one's internal issues. Dealing with one's demons was the hardest thing I have done yet. Absolutely. Me too. And so here's the thing. Have you ever been on social media? You go to Twitter, for example, before we were still all nuked, and you see somebody having a bio, and it says, I'm the son or daughter of a veteran. I'm a 3-time cancer survivor, and I'm followed by X, Y, and Z. Every single time I saw that, I'm like, wait, so who are you? Why? do you want me to follow you just because a a family member is a veteran, or X, Y, and Z is following you, or because you survived cancer? Well, those are the typical victimhood type of visions. And many people have no idea they're actually doing it. But I always wonder, who are you? I want to know who the person is that I'm going to follow. Uh, you know, um, I don't know. Are you married? Are you, you know, are you funny? Are you, what's your belief system? What are you Trump support? Whatever, right? Just um, things like that. And so if you put that in your bio, it has nothing to do with you, because what you really are saying is, please follow me because all these external things are part of me and is why you need to follow me. And that is something that many have no idea they're actually doing. It's the victimhood syndrome, right? Because where's your personality? Where's your strength? Where's your good things? What, you know somebody wants to follow you because, I don't know, you're funny, or you have certain things that we have in common, or name it. Hey, Kate Awakening, good to see you. Happy to see you there. And so these are little things that, hey, from Toronto, Andy Social, good to see you there. And so I see this, and then I feel really sad, because I think, oh, you know, I wonder, is this person aware that what you're really putting out there is not you as your person? And so um, there's I was like on Twitter, and somebody sent me a message uh, saying, why don't you follow me back? How can I be, how can I be in this movement and be a digital soldier if you do not follow me back? Well, first of all, it doesn't depend on me that you're a digital soldier. Second, I was 3 days gone, so I didn't see it. Plus, I was swamped with messages, but I did see it. So I figured, okay, somebody is really angry with me and reacting in a way that's not really nice. So why would I follow them in the first place, right? And so I went to his bio, and what do I see again? What was it? Terminal cancer survivor. And I'm like, wait, how do you survive terminal cancer? And second, is this a competition? It's almost like victimhood is a competition. And when people do not realize they do that, they have still a long road ahead with themselves. And so I did. Oh, Tessa, I just get a message from her. You made the front page on D Live. I did. I didn't even know there was a front page. But yeah, thank you, UFO Mark, for the resist the vax. And so, yeah, victimhood is a currency, Kate. Oh man, that's the best thing I've ever heard. It's true. It's a currency. It's a way to, and the more victims there are, the more they start, uniting together, like it's some, I don't know, a club, and it is also encouraged even more. And the downside of that is that all those people doing that, they do not get their full potential out, because until they keep doing that, they have no idea that they have this strength within, and that they can actually be a person instead of a victim. And yeah, victimhood is an identity for some. um, you must follow me. If you don't, you will die. Yeah. And yeah, we have many victims and martyrs out there. Yeah, the martyrdom, that's another one. It's almost epidemic, really. uh, and yeah, Brooklyn, you've got a point there, but it is them, if that construct is the only thing they've ever known. And that is so true. But I'm not judging it in that sense that, they want to be, because that's what I say. Usually they have no idea they're doing it. And they do it because they've never known any different. And hence why you have a long road ahead, because first of all, you need to be aware that you're doing it, you know, and until then, it will only continue. Victims united. Yeah, but it's sad, because think about it. We're in a great awakening. As long as there's people that actually find themselves a victim, we're not going to change, are we? I mean, if we want to, if we are our own uh, um, saviors, then the last thing we want is being a victim, right? Because then we're stagnant. We cannot move on. We cannot say, hey, let's do this. Get our power out and just go for it. Because you know what? I'm a person. I'm valuable, and I deserve the best. Because I always say this to myself. I deserve the best there is, and that is not arrogance. It's because of self-worth. There's a difference between obviously narcissism and because that is a false self-love. you know yeah, you can't heal from anything if you don't have a positive attitude. Queen Fisher, good one. And it's true. And not even because the positive, um you know the positive side is that if you do not approach life that way, then it's things can change. Now, um you have terminal cancer, but it doesn't mean you will die. But terminal means it's the end. Therefore, with terminal cancer, usually that's when somebody is going to die, right? Well, that's how, otherwise, why is it called terminal? Well, obviously, if you do survive, then, well, it was almost terminal, right? And so, law girl, that's what I actually meant with it, because if it was terminal, you wouldn't have survived it. But you can be in a stage where it might be terminal and then, survive it. And so then you survived, well, then you survived almost terminal cancer. But yeah, you know what I mean, right? And no, cancer is not a poor example, Brooklyn, because I see many people using their diseases, whatever it is. It doesn't mean it has to be a cancer per se, but any disease, and using that to find sympathy. And um, and that is kind of sad, because it means you actually embrace it. You embrace that uh, illness that you have, and instead of actually fighting it, right? It's called terminal because it could go either way. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Here, if something is terminal, it's like, well, you're going to the end, kind of thing. So that's how I interpreted it. um But then, in any case, once you see people like that in their bio, saying, "Oh, 2 times cancer survivor, 3 times cancer survivor," all those things are, of course, something to be proud of in a sense, but it's it indicates kind of a victimhood. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Terminal is terminated. Yeah. That's how I saw it, kind of. But semantics here. It's about the whole message that victimhood, and embracing the fact that and using it as a tool for the negative. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. Obviously, it's never nice that people have diseases and all that, but you know using it to find sympathy is a wrong way of doing it. But not only diseases, there's so many things, right? uh, what else can we find that people do that with? um, well, there are countless things. And hey, thank you, Alara, for your super chat. Love you, Keystone. Never stop being you and standing in your truth. You've come a long way. That's so true. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. And I do believe I missed another one. And oh, there it is. Yeah, thank you. Oh, Sudabok, thank you so much for your donation. And but yeah, it's um something that slips in and we have no idea that we're actually doing it, because that's what it's all about, you know. um it's not that people actually do it because they want to do it. The same that when I got uh, that folder with the super victim syndrome, you know, I say I'm not a victim. I got so angry, but then I found out I actually was, and that shocked the hell out of me because I was not aware I was doing it. But when I became aware of doing it, my whole life changed. Like everything changed because indeed, all of a sudden, I had choices and I had, you know, my power back, because all of a sudden I realized, oh my God, this is why I'm stuck where I am constantly, you know, because now that I found out that I'm doing what I'm doing, I can finally find a way to actually find my power. And that's what instantly happened. The moment I realized it, instantly everything changed. And then it can go very, very quick. And so that is just one of the examples on our way to self love, right? And there are many other ways to find that. To, well, first discover yourself. Are you a victim? Do you you know, take responsibility first of all for your own life, for everything that's happening in your life? Because I remember also I used to blame everything and everybody for all the things that happen. You know, I have no money and that's because, and oh, they took my money away because they blamed me for being a criminal. Well, that really happened. But at the same time, you know, if I'm looking back now, everything that happened in that time kind of was, it's like manifesting your own misery, right? Just like you can manifest good things, you can manifest misery. And you know, it doesn't help if you constantly search the blame everywhere. And then one time I decided, okay, that's it. I'm going to stop blaming everything and everybody. And what I'm going to do is everything that happens to me, even bumping into somebody on the street, I'm going to take responsibility for it. You know, because then I think, okay, if I wasn't like with my head in the clouds somewhere because I was annoyed and whatever, I wouldn't have bumped in the street to somebody. Small example, but everything that happens to you, that if you decide, choose for yourself to take responsibility for everything that happens in your life, even though it doesn't seem to be your own responsibility, but it still happens, then, um, you know, once you start doing that, you make complete different choices. You start to become more aware of yourself, first of all, and aware of everything that you do during the day, you know? So now when I feel shitty, I always say, well, it was my own fault. Because if I didn't do this, this, and this, and this, I wouldn't have felt shitty now. Right. So in that, and you learn. And so by also taking responsibility for everything that happens in your life, you also get your power back. And with that, also, you start to learn from all the little mistakes that happen or whatever happens in your life. And that's when self worth starts to grow, because all of a sudden you start to see things are going better. I'm more positive. Um, how many times in a day can you count that you actually are feeling shitty, angry, annoyed, bored? Name them, you know? If that's a lot of times, or most of the time, or say 50% of the day, that's way too much, you know? And overall, I'm like happy 30% of the day, like happy, happy. And for the rest of the day, I'm just normal. I'm like, you know, going about my day. But am I angry that much? No, no. that happens maybe once a week, and then it's usually very uh, quickly over. So recognizing you're a problem does not always mean you are the problem. No. Well, that exactly that, is just a tool to move forward. Thank you, Shanjo. You just bring the words for me exactly like I want to tell them. But, English is not my native language. So it's sometimes difficult to actually explain what I want to say. Um, yeah. Once you start doing that, you have zero patience for victim mentality. That's so true. uh, and you look straight through it too, because then you start recognizing it with others, and obviously you're not going to blame them for it and tell them, oh, you're a victim, this and that. No, you approach them in a different way. You don't have to attack somebody, because everybody has their learning curve, and so usually you can do it by asking them questions and try to make them find it out for themselves that they are actually being in a victim mode. um, yeah, CW, many more good things happened to me once I took more responsibility for my direction in life. Same for me, you know, and literally, I mean, for those who have not seen my last week's video about my transformation, where I show in pictures how my life kind of went, you can see it was really bad. Um, Victimhood is an energy. People do not realize this. Some say by wearing crucifix around your neck brings victim energy right to you. I do believe that you do attract what you put out. So, when you are very positive, you usually, and I bet you all have this experience, you attract it too. And I know also the opposite. When I was miserable, I only attracted misery and wrong people have had agendas, people that were mean and all that, because you know that's all you attract. Positive people stay away far from you when you actually radiate all that negativity and depression, and and complaining is a part of that as well, right? And of course we can nag every now and then and complain here and there. I do that, I need to vent, and once I did that, it's over. It doesn't mean that I do not take responsibility for it, but sometimes you just need to get it out in order to calm down. And that's where I have friends for, so I can just vent with them. I always say to my friends, and there are many in here, say, if you want to vent, bring it on. That's what you're friends for. And uh, Net Handy, hi, good to see you. I feel empathy for other souls who have experienced child sexual abuse. That that doesn't make me a victim. It's true. I mean, I've been through that, and that am I a victim? Yeah, but am I going to live that victimhood? No, no, because you also, in a sense, you give it power, right? And that counts really for everything. Um, I saw there's something interesting. Sometimes mean people are repelled by positivity. Oh yes, I had that at the job. They resented it. Yeah, they do, because they always want to find also the negativity in others and in everything, to confirm their own negativity, that it's justified, right? So they justify their own negativity with, you see, everybody thinks like that. And getting your self-worth back, and you do that by slowly realizing that you may have you know these thoughts, these traits. Even if you don't know, just question yourself constantly, just like we do with the Q drop. Question yourself, keep digging, dig into that rabbit hole. And I've done it, and a lot. I've done it with every single thing. I had to do it, otherwise I wouldn't be where I am now, right? I was in a in a very deep hole. And so in order to climb out of that, I needed to question everything that I did, that I felt, and and take responsibility for it. um, yeah, you create a new timeline by dealing with past situations. That too, it's the moving forward. Moving forward means you transform, you transmute your own life, and you transmute actually the world. Say that we all would do this, right? We all take responsibility for everything that happens around us, and we let go of that victimhood once we discover we have it. Then everybody will start to stand in their power. Once we all start to stand in their power, we become more positive. When we all become more positive, it becomes a collective consciousness that starts to become positive, and that right there is how we become our own saviors. Because like negativity cannot stand, the dark cannot stand the light, negativity cannot stand positivity. And so things will eradicate off the planet if we do it that way. So people being blackpilled lately, with all the news going out, and now it's starting to have an uptick again, but at the end of the day, if we just take it for truth that we are our own saviors, we have no choice but to go within. We have no choice but to learn about ourselves. We have no choice but to better ourselves, towards ourselves and towards others. Being of service to others is something where you help each other, where you help others, but that doesn't mean you should be a doormat. So there's many people that haven't been through their own, struggles yet, and yet they want to rescue and help people. I've been one of those, and what happened? I became a doormat. People walked all over me because I wasn't strong enough to actually be able to rescue and help people. And I wanted to help them, but I couldn't. And sometimes the helping is another excuse not to look in yourself, you know? Um, Metal plated face job. It's not a sexual reference. I noticed that you all tend to hesitate reading my name out loud. I don't have that problem. It's just like a difficult name to say for me, at least. It's funny though. Actually, I read that name when you were in Kate Awakening's channel, and I read it, and I'm like, what does that even mean? Metal plated face job. That was funny. Um, you were using mirrors for protection at the time. Yeah, mirrors. Often we don't, when we are insecure and all that, we just avoid mirrors. I avoid mirrors, not, well, I don't really avoid them. I just forget to look in them. And then, you know, I, I just get dressed, go out, go to the shop because I'm so used to being home that I'm not thinking about what do I look like. And then sometimes, you know, uh, even if I would have gone to bed with mascara, and I've got my mascara here, and then I find myself in the supermarket with mascara still here. I mean, it's just because I didn't care that I didn't look in the mirror. But, you know, um, mirrors are there to actually check. Let me see. And I know that many people in this movement obviously have been through a lot of stuff, traumas, addictions, name it. We've all been there. Uh, Mascara. Is that how you say it, Sudabog? Mascara. Were you laughing about how I said it? But yeah, I mean, in this great awakening, we all encounter ourselves. We encounter other people. We're all kind of rebels and loners, and so encountering all those different um, um, all those different. Did I get out of YouTube? Because I just saw my stream going. Can somebody give me a 5 if YouTube is still working? Because it looks on my iPad it's not working. Was I just thrown out of YouTube? Oh, it's 5. Good. Okay, I'm still there. Oh, that's weird. But yeah, so that was something I wanted to talk about and make people aware of, because we sometimes are not thinking of that because we're so busy with the news, we're busy with everything, and encounter each other here in this great awakening. We all have our personalities, and we're quite strong-willed and opinionated, and we do tend to you know vent our own opinions and then maybe burst out into sort of fights. But at the same time, those are the moments that you actually can practice this. You know, this is the moment we should practice it. Yeah, especially when you look at the news, you can practice it with liberals, although that is quite difficult because what you can do there is see how you react to them, because it's very cringy. That's a challenge. So if you want to challenge yourself, go try to bite your tongue when you see a liberal talk about their nonsense, their victimhoods and all that, and try to approach it from a different perspective, from you know from a good heart. And I know it's not easy. I mean, literally, I'm a redhead, I have a temperament, so it's not easy. And I'm not saying that I've got it all down, right? Because I don't. But it's important to know that it's something that we should, you know, work on. And actually, it's a constant work, really, because we still have these egos, right? And yeah, and with that, I'm busy for an hour, and I was going to make it a bit shorter because my videos are quite long. And then I know that people sometimes are like, ah, they're way too long, not going to watch them. And I can see that obviously in my analytics. Uh, People don't like to watch long videos. So is there anybody that has a question or anything, or maybe a suggestion what you want me to talk about next when it comes to these topics about health, about healing? I would really like to know, because I do read all my comments under my videos, but nobody ever suggests anything. So um, I always have to think like, okay, what am I going to talk about now? And obviously, I know a lot of things to talk about, but it would be great if people just know, or have suggestion what's a good topic to address, because at this moment it's there's so many things to be addressed. And yeah. Nat Handy, keep going, keep going. A July Ginger, yes, that's me, Hugapug. Oh, meditation. That's a good one. We can talk about meditation. Although meditation, I did one like that when I gave everybody homework as well. Um, what do you recommend for healing victimhood? Or is it victimhood? Punctuations is this thing that is really, that needs to be used, because sometimes a tester says, what do you recommend for healing victimhood? What do you recommend for healing victimhood? You see? Um, Yeah, relaxation grounding techniques. I used that. I did a video about that. Um, that was quite some time ago already, and I made a playlist now that covered these things. So I will put in the description more clearly what is what and where is what, so people just you don't have to watch all the videos in order to find it. I need to organize that better, which I will. Um, and meditation, you can do it everywhere. You don't have to sit still in a lotus position. You can do meditation just by being aware. Get out of your head and be aware of every movement that you make with your hands or your feet or wherever or whatever you do, even while doing the washing, you know? Oh, thank you, Brooklyn Way. I'm not thirst trap super chatting, but I call in format would be Litty City. Really, you guys, you have to speak normal English because that's not my first language, you know. I'm not thirst trap, especially Brooklyn, because she's got this slang on her, and she knows it. um, UFO Mark, what did you learn from the past life regressions that you spoke of in your early broadcast? Yes. Oh, I learned there a lot. Um, I did. I did a past life regression and I did QHHC. And what I learned through past life depression, I was going to say, regression, is I saw, well, in one life, I was in a Roman Empire, and I was one of those sexy dudes that was like, I was quite high up the chain, really. And I was a guard somewhere in one of those, these high up people. And and what do you know, I already was a rebel there because I refused um to uh fool the people. I didn't want to participate in cheating on the people and give them, give those Roman people that uh, elites wanted, and so I was fighting against that, which then turned me into a jail prison for 10 years, only to then being eventually hanged, or actually my head was chopped off. So that wasn't fun. But then I got a new life where I was a girl, and I was in that life, I had a brother and a sister, and we were quite well off, but I was like the black sheep. And they wanted me to marry somebody, and I had to. Um, and that person beat the crap out of me. He raped me all the time, and he was a real asshole. And so, and my parents and my family, wanted nothing to do with it because I was now given away to the men, and the man decided what he could do with me. So, women, wherever I lived at that time, which was a bit after the Roman Empire time, uh, they were nothing but a tool and to make babies. And that's what I was. And in that life, I eventually walked away from that man, and I died of poverty. So that wasn't fun either. But what I did learn is, that certain traits that I have in this life, I already had in other lives, and it's very interesting to see that, and also, um, even abuse and stuff like that. So, learning that, I actually became stronger because now in this life, I decided when I learned about that, right, I decided to actually stop, uh, you know, giving my power away and start fighting. And this was in Bali when I did that. So that was very interesting. The QHHC is a whole different story. It's a very long story I'm going to tell next time. But I learned a lot there. QHHC is an absolute, like, recommendation that I do because it addresses where you are now in life and what you can learn from it during those during that session. It's very long, but yeah, it's great. And no, I don't know what a thirst trap is. Yeah, well, I don't remember those words, because it still doesn't. I mean, sorry, Brooklyn. I need a course in slang because I have explained it to get so that even the joke was regarding the super chat for attention. Oh, oh gosh, now I know what you mean with it. Yes, I know. Yeah, can't say that out loud. Yeah, I was a sexy dude in Rome. You know, one with those what you see in these movies like Caesar and stuff. Yeah, like that. And anyway, any suggestions for next time? I love those stickers from D Life. I got bajoneted on Napoleon's retreat from Moscow, laying on snow-covered road. Really, Shanjo, that is interesting. I wasn't in that war at all. I was rather in the Mediterranean a lot. Indonesia I was as well, and different planets. That too. Yeah, we do. I do believe that we reincarnate with the same soul group of people. So I do believe we encounter people in our lives that we have like this soul bond with, right? And they teach us lessons. You're welcome, UFO Mark. Yeah, it was really interesting. I mean, the QHHC, I will definitely next time I will talk about that because that was really, really fascinating. Oh, Sudabok left a suggestion. Let me see. Um, I need to go up, scroll up. Talk about frequency exposure. All right. Like keeping yourself from bad frequency, rap music versus good frequency, angelic music. How does this impact your days? That's a good topic. Yes. Gosh, many people ask me that. And I mean, I know some of it. I'm not that well versed in that whole frequency stuff. I mean, I know how it works, but you know, definitely a good one. And Brooklyn Way says hip hop is angel music. But yeah, that's a good one. Frequencies and, you know, I love those stickers. They're so funny. Well, I thank you all. Let me get that chest done because seriously, I haven't done that. And I need to learn about it. So let's start with it. Um, Let me see. So I go to D Live and let me get the chat up because then people can actually watch with me what I need to do. Let me see that. Hey, Lady Waranan, good to see you. Let me see. Stream channel. No, that's not it. I need to go to my stream, I assume. And then there should be a chest. And how does that work? Um, Let me see. How do I empty a chest? Where is the oh, there's a chest. Okay, let's see. Distribute rewards. Yay. Did that work? Yes, I think it did. Funny. Is there anything else I need to do with it? Or does that go by itself? I don't even know what that all means. I mean, really. um, oh, and this is good news. My website is almost done. Thanks to Detox with Tessa, she helped me this week as well. And I still have to go through some text and then it will be launched. So, yeah, I don't think that I won't be talking about that on Monday. It will probably be, sorry, on Thursday because I have an interview with Ellen or Ellen and Joe from the Uncensored Ape. And so, great. Thank you so much, Tessa. Good, good that I did that. My first chest. And thank you all for coming. I think Whitehead will be going live as well. So, yay. And so I hope you all have a great night. And for those that are going to watch later, please also subscribe to my D Life. So I'll find you there. And yeah, leave a suggestion in the comments, because really I can use some inspiration there, and then I can also prepare for it, because that's it's always nice. And yeah, big kiss everybody, and where we go one we go all, and peace out. Now let me see how I get out of here. I think that's how we go about it. There. I think I'm still here, right? Bye all.